Hello and welcome back to the postpartum hair chronicles. I washed it this morning and there's really nothing I can do about this other than match it up into that love heart. Boof, mohawk. I wanted to come on the day and bump my gums about things that I wish I knew when I became a new mum. 5 pieces of things that you can just go ahead, wrap it in a wee ball and fire it in the bin because you don't need it anymore. And this applies to, I'd say, predominantly parenthood, motherhood, whateverhood. Or I mean, you can apply it to your life. That's up to you. The first thing you want to get rid of in your life is comparison. You want to get it, you want to put that shit in the tightest seal locked container you can ever find and then put it at the bottom of the bin because you just don't need it because it's really bad for you, so it is. And by comparison, I mean I'm going to go down the path of social media because I've got a huge bother with social media. Even though social media was the place that I found the most help for my postpartum depression, it was also the place that filled me with a lot of shite and a lot of comparison. You'll see stuff on social media, you know, of how people parent, how they live their life, what they do with their kids, and we've all got the tendency to compare ourselves to what we see on there. And what the secret of that is that a lot of stuff that people post online is one-sided or it's just plain shite. So you're going to want to get that wall of comparison really early on and just set it on fire. Just get rid of it. You don't need it. Don't compare yourselves to what other people are doing because you're only going to send yourself mental, because everyone in parenthood and in life do things really differently. And what you really want to avoid is probably exactly what I'm doing, is go and project your views on other people who you think are doing something different. Which brings me to the second thing you can chuck in the bin is unsolicited advice. Oh my God, when you're pregnant or when you're trying to get pregnant, or even like if you're a female and you've got the ability to produce children, or even if you don't, you're going to get unsolicited advice coming at you from all angles as soon as you are deemed the appropriate age to be having children and should be having children. People are going to tell you shit all the time about how they get pregnant, when they get pregnant, what helped them get pregnant, or why you're not pregnant, or you're just going to get bombarded. And then when you are pregnant, you're going to get bombarded with more shit. When I was pregnant with a 10-pound baby and like enough water to fill a fucking swimming pool, people would tell me online that I should use oil to avoid the stretch marks, and I can actually feel the steam coming from my stretch marks all the way up and going bursting in my ears. There is no amount of fucking oil on this planet that would have prevented those stretch marks. That unsolicited advice probably caused stretch marks because I was so fucking angry with people telling me to use oil. Fuck off. No. You're going to get so much advice that you could probably write your own advice fucking book. And what you're going to want to do with most of that advice is just let it go through. Let it go through. I didn't let it go through with my first kid, and yeah, it really stressed me out. I mean, everything from how long my baby should be sleeping to how long she should be feeding, and just everything. People just fucking constantly told me stuff, and I tell you who's the worst for it? Mums. Evidently. But I'm telling you not to listen to anything I'm saying or anything anyone's saying. Mums are the worst, and dare I say, older mums or mums, and by older mums I mean mums that have had children that have, you know, have grown up, that are like 20s, 30s or whatever, they tend to be the worst because they tend to just fucking speak and just don't listen to what they're saying, and you're like, that is unacceptable. Probably illegal now to raise your child that way, so I'm no listening. And they can be a wee bit forceful. And then also, I don't want to mum bash, but a spade's also a spade. Mums in mum groups can be horrific. They can tell you stuff about sleep and sleep training and sleep patterns and sleep windows, and it's a lot of sleep stuff. Can you tell I had a wee bit of a sleep anxiety going on there? They will tell you stuff and chat about stuff. They'll give you all these books or handouts, even when you've not even asked. I'm quite fine at my baby Disney nap. That's an absolute lie. And I know people mean well, but no, just stop it. Don't do it and don't listen to it. Just, if you want advice, ask for advice. Like, that's the only time it's acceptable. If you want a piece of information, go and Google it. Like, there's good forums on Google that mums just go hell-bent and talk about TMI, and I'm all here for the TMI. I'm like, you tell me about that mucus, you tell me right now. That's what I need to see. That's what I'm talking about. The next thing you want to get rid of is worrying that everything that you do and everything that you say and every time you touch your baby is going to create a bad habit. We're going to look at sleep. There's a lot of sleep going on here. I think I've got some unresolved issues, but you're going to worry that everything you do with your kids will create a terrible bad habit that you will not be able to beat out of them. I mean, train very nicely out of them when they're older. Whether that is sleep and co-sleeping and worrying that they're going to be in your bed to the age of 18, or if it's giving them sugar too early and they're going to be hooked on the good stuff and they're just going to want ketchup and absolutely everything. That's speaking from experience. Or whether that's the toys you give them and how they're going to be like hooked to Nintendo. Again, that's also my experience. Or, letting them not speak because then they will never speak. Or giving them toys to make them walk because they'll never walk. Or bedwetting. Or just, there's so many things that you think you're doing that's going to create a bad habit. Does people still do this? I feel like Ross, man. So 90s. Oh, people just tell you everything's going to create a bad habit. And now, it's only a bad habit if you hate something and you don't want to do it. For example, I didn't want my kids in my bed, so therefore they never slept in my bed. I co-slept as a baby. I didn't co-sleep as a baby. My babies co-slept beside me when they were babies. Wow, struggling a day. I only fed them when I was breastfeeding them in the bed and then put them back in their cot because I was under this terrified illusion that I would create bad habits and they would want to be stuck in the bed with me for the rest of their life. And I didn't want that. I like my bed for me and my partner at best. But I wanted it for me. It's my space for sleeping and I need sleep. Because if I don't get sleep, things get ugly. That's actually true. So I was so scared to have my baby sleeping in beside me because I thought that both of them would still be hanging off my tit when they were, 10 years old, and I didn't want that. So I got a wee bit of fear and tried to sleep train my 6-week-old baby to sleep on her own cot, which I wouldn't advise that. That was a lot of stress that no one needed in their life. So that's probably a bad habit in itself. You're just going to get the fear of baby gods put in you that everything you do creates a bad habit. It's only a bad habit if you don't want to do it. What I'm saying is, just do what you want to do. Don't worry about the future, because that's the future. Can't be dealing with that right now when I've got these 2 crotch goblins hanging off my arse, man, and no giving me peace. Like, if you want to play that Nintendo for 6 hours in a row, go for it. I'll deal with the addiction next year, which we're actually at next year, and I don't know what to do, so don't listen to anything I'm saying. The next thing you can boof out the house is probably my most pet hate is sensory play. And I'm not saying anything negative about it, but what I am saying is you don't need to sit and colour dye 5 different colours of fucking rice and lay it all nice and all that shite and a fucking tub just to give it to your kid, and they just go, no, and bolt it up in the air, and you're like, now I need to pick up rice that I've wasted. It's food. What are you doing? Stop wasting it. You don't need that shit. All you need, my rug is sensory play enough. My rug is hoaching. I'm eyeballing some crisps at the minute. It's disgusting. I don't need to go and get some liquid and make some bubble extravaganza that I need to clean. I don't want to do it. Like, I'm sure sensory play has its benefits, but also the house is sensory play. Like slapping a ballpoint pen off my TV is sensory play. I don't need to go and buy shit and dye it and dangle stuff in the ceiling. Oh no, geez, peace, man, with that. I can't be dealing with sensory play. Can't be dealing. Get it in the bin. Just everybody just pick it up and put it in the bin. No. And the last thing that I think is important that you put in the bin, just make a wee bit of space. I mean, I don't hate it so much, but just make a wee bit of space in the bin for this. It's good and it's bad. I'm talking about family days out, or family events, or things that you feel you should do because you've got a kid. And I'm eyeballing pumpkin picking farms. I'm eyeballing Santa Claus visits. I'm eyeballing days at the beach, forest walks, going to the fucking park with all these other people that you need to speak to. I'm talking about all those things that people post on social media and it makes you feel like, oh, I should be doing that. You know, if it's baking with your kid. I've also got a stick up my arse about baking. So, not bacon. I'm so Glasgow I can't even say baking properly. Bacon. Baking. Making fucking cakes or scones or whatever. You don't have to do all these things because other people are doing them. We took our daughter to see Santa and it was really cold. It was freezing and we went out on like some kind of Santa train ride. I don't know what that means, but that's my train. And it was really cold and we went round the loch and it was nice. Scotland's beautiful. It was really frosty and beautiful, but it was fucking freezing. And did she speak to Santa? No, she didn't speak to Santa because she was like 3 and it's stranger danger and all that. And she's just like, well, what are we doing here, Mum? Where are the cookies? Like, where's the reindeer food? We paid to buy reindeer food. It's fucking oats and glitter, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Oats are like 20p and there's enough glitter in my rug to feed the entire nation of reindeers. And it's bad for the planet anyway, so I don't know what we're doing. It's just, I just felt compelled that we had to do that more, to say we had done it more than my kid actually wanted to do it. Do you know what my kid actually wants to do? She wants to go for afternoon tea and eat her face and cakes. So we've done that a few times. But that doesn't seem to be a thing that parents really do. But that's what we did. Never been to a pumpkin farm because I just think I don't want to pay over the odds for a piece of, is it a fruit or a vegetable? That's actually shocking. Don't know the answer to that. But I don't want to pay over the odds for some big orange thing and it just sits in your window and I don't know how to make pumpkin soup or pumpkin anything because I'm a 33-year-old woman child that doesn't know how to live, let alone make pumpkin delicacies. I don't want to pay £10 for something that rots on my window ledge or my doorstep, but I live in kind of a rough area. That'll get stolen and I'll be raging if somebody takes my £10 pumpkin. So no, I'm going to the supermarket and I'm buying a £1 pumpkin, £2 if I go to the cheap supermarkets and get the large one and if I'm feeling good on payday. But no, I'm not going to a pumpkin farm with everybody in wellies covered in shite, absolute muck, to then get in my new car. Absolutely fucking not. No. And then every autumn it's just full of orange in my social media and I can't be doing. I've never been, that's true, so I can't tell if it's fun. But I'm thinking taking a 5 and a 1-year-old to go and pick pumpkins, no. Again, no. Let's just go to Greg's and get a donut and sit and eat the donut. Like, no, I'm no fussed. I'm just no fussed. And you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. You can't get to the beach. You can't get to the beach. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent or some shit. It just means you don't want to wipe sand out your Wayne's arse crack. That's all that means. So you can put that in the bin right beside everything else. It does sound like I've got quite a lot of sticks up my arse about parenthood, doesn't it? Just annoys me. And these are things that would stress me out 5 years in. I don't really give a hee-haw for that. If my Wayne asked to go to the pumpkin farm, then I will take her. But I'm not doing it of my own accord. Absolutely flipping not. When that day comes and I'm forced to go, then we'll go. And to be fair, she's not asked to go back to see Santa because she knows that's weird. So there you go. There's my 5 pieces of advice I wish I had listened to when I had my kid 5.5 years ago, and which I'm listening to with my second kid. He's going to be his therapy is going to be wild when he's older. Never went to pumpkin farm, never went to see Santa, never got to put rice up my nose either. Oh well.